Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we really get into your most interesting sources, pull them apart, and find the insights that, actually stick with you.
Turning all that information into something genuinely useful, or at least really fascinating to think about.
Exactly. And today we are taking, well, quite a ride. We're going into a film that, based on the fantastic conversation you sent us, has been, let's say, tragically misunderstood by many. We're doing a deep dive into the 2015 Wachowski film, Jupiter Ascending.
Yes. A film that I think you'll find really pushes boundaries. And for a lot of people, the first thing that comes to mind, maybe amusingly, is Channing Tatum.
Right. The wolf guy.
The wolf guy. Well, technically, he's a lycanthrope, which is, this specific genetic mix of human and wolf DNA. The source discussion we're using today actually called him a handsome, sad-eyed space dog, which I think captures it perfectly.
That's brilliant. And yet this isn't just us riffing. Our deep dive today is really sparked by that specific source you shared, the Breakdown Lane, episode 74. My wolf boyfriend has gravity boots. Great title.
He really is.
And they didn't just, review the movie. They went all in, calling it a sweeping sci-fi epic that dared to ask the big questions, even though, it didn't exactly wow the critics initially.
No, it certainly had a mixed reception, to put it mildly.
Yeah, that hook, that image, everyone remembers the dog man skating on air with those boots. That's kind of the entry point, isn't it?
Absolutely. The source uses that detail, that very specific, quirky image, not really to make fun of it, but more to celebrate how incredibly bold it is. They kind of nail it when they say Jupiter Ascending feels, at first glance anyway, like something a 14-year-old might invent after, too much pizza.
Right. It has that energy.
But, and this is their key point, underneath all that wildness, there are these layers of, well, surprising depth, really imaginative world building, and some themes that are actually quite poignant, even if they're presented unconventionally. It really pushes you to look past the surface spectacle.
And that's exactly what we want to do today. Based on that conversation you brought to us, we're going to unpack the most surprising takes, the facts, the insights they raised. Why do some people, like those hosts, see this as such an imaginative, maybe peculiar, but ultimately valuable piece of cinema?
Trying to understand that different perspective.
Yeah. We want to give you a new way, maybe a more appreciative way, to look at this really unique film. So let's dive right in.
Let's do it.
Okay, so first things first. We need to set the scene for our main character, Jupiter Jones, played by Mila Kunis, who brings this real grounded quality to her.
Yeah, she does.
And her life, when we first meet her, is, well, it's not glamorous. It's pretty bleak, actually, just the daily grind.
Right. The film really emphasizes this, especially her job, cleaning toilet.
A lot of toilet cleaning. You see her scrubbing, dealing with, the messy reality of it all. It's shown repeatedly.
And the source material we're looking at has such a brilliant take on this. They argue it's not just there to show she's down on her luck or make her relatable.
Okay.
They suggest, quite cleverly, that this gives her a practical, transferable skill for when she, eventually becomes a galactic monarch.
Huh. Seriously.
Yeah. They joke that you can't just inherit a throne and say, oh, I'm good at vibes. You need practical skills.
Oh, I love that.
A ruler needs to know how things work, how to maintain things. They imagine her inheriting the Earth and being able to confidently say, right, I can get the rings out of that nebula.
That's fantastic. It reframes something totally mundane into, essential queenly training. Practicality over vibe.
Exactly. It adds this unexpected weight to what seems like just backstory. Suggests a sort of pragmatic core to her, even before the space stuff happens.
That's a great point. But her home life isn't much less chaotic, is it?
Yeah.
She lives with this big, loud family.
Very loud. The film presents them in this very heightened way, almost caricatured, some might say, stereotypical Russian family dynamic. Lots of yelling about money, trying to get her married off.
Yeah, it's pretty broad.
Yeah.
But the source does note that even though it's exaggerated, that kind of boisterous, slightly overwhelming family vibe can still feel familiar,
Yeah.
It underlines why Jupiter might be dreaming of something else.
Definitely. It connects her internal struggle to something more universal, and the source really picks up on the plot point where her cousin convinces her to sell her eggs.
Right, for money. It feels desperate.
It does. And the source frames it not just as a plot device, but as this really relatable human story. It's about ambition, needing financial stability, maybe trying to achieve a dream like her father wanting that telescope we hear about earlier. It's this very grounded, almost desperate move for a better life, which makes the sudden shift into sci-fi even more jarring. It anchors the extraordinary in something very real and personal.
You really feel that yearning, that desire to escape her circumstances amidst all the yelling and the toilet scrubbing. And then it happens. The clinic.
Yeah, the fertility clinic. She's there for this very personal, vulnerable procedure.
And suddenly, everything just flips.
Yeah.
The whole reality of the film shifts in an instant. That mundane clinic visit.
Explodes, literally explodes into a sci-fi action sequence.
Quite the pivot.
It really is. The film just pulls the rug out. Any idea that this might be a grounded drama? Gone. The doctors, the nurses.
They're aliens.
Little gray aliens trying to assassinate her. The source has a great line on this, calling it the classic alien assassins disguised as fertility clinic staff trope.
Of course. Standard procedure.
It's so absurd, but it immediately tells you what kind of movie this is. It's going to embrace the weirdness wholeheartedly, shoving high-concept sci-fi into the most unexpected places. That jump from personal vulnerability to cosmic threat is just fundamental to its style.
Totally. 1 minute it's about paying bills, the next it's laser blasts from ET doctors. And right then, when things look utterly hopeless,
Enter the hero.
enter the hero. This is where we meet him properly. Channing Tatum, Kane Wise.
Bursting in, all action, saves Jupiter from the alien medical team. Quite the entrance.
Unforgettable. And we need to talk about what he is, not just a guy who looks a bit wolfish.
Right. The source is clear on this, and the film, too. He's a lycanthant, a genetically engineered soldier, human DNA, wolf DNA, spliced together.
Which sounds cool, but the source points out this isn't just flavor text. It's world building.
Exactly. It immediately tells you you're in a universe where genetic manipulation is, well, routine, advanced. It implies a society that maybe designs beings for specific jobs. Like Kane, the soldier.
Or maybe other things we find out about later.
Precisely, like the whole youth serum thing. It sets up how the Abrasax dynasty operates, how they view life itself as a commodity. That underlying genetic engineering principle is key.
And the source calling him a handsome, sad-eyed space dog. It fits, doesn't it? He has that look.
He does. He's got the action hero thing down, but there's a sort of melancholy there, too. And he is objectively very handsome, even with the, pointy ears and slight canine vibe.
Agreed. But, okay, beyond the genes, the thing that really defines Kane, especially in the source discussion, is the footwear.
Oh, the gravity boots. Yes.
Not just boots. The source calls them rocket-powered space rollerblades, which is perfect.
It really is. They let him skate on air, basically. Dodging, shooting, moving with this incredible agility. It makes the action scenes visually unique, graceful almost, but also incredibly cool.
And the source goes pretty big on these boots, right? They call them.
The single greatest piece of technology ever conceived in science fiction. Bold claim.
Bolder than warp drives. Lightsabers.
Apparently. And their reasoning is surprisingly down to earth. It's driven by the simple desire to commute to the grocery store on shoes that defy gravity.
Okay, I get that. I
Yeah.
really do. Who wouldn't want that?
It taps into that basic human wish for cooler, easier personal transport. Less about saving the galaxy, more about making your own life awesome. That specific, almost childlike wonder about what tech could do for me.
Totally. Forget flying cars. I want gravity boots.
Mm-hmm.
But the source also gets into the funny side, the practicalities.
Oh, yeah. The logistical questions, like how long does the battery last? Is it USB-C charging?
Crucial questions. And what if you hit, like, invisible space ice?
Exactly. They have this hilarious image of Kane, the super cool Wolfman hybrid, flying into battle and then just wiping out because his boots snagged on a stray photon.
Huh. Undermines the badassery somewhat.
Completely. It's that kind of playful interrogation of the cool stuff that makes the source's take so engaging. It humanizes the fantastic, makes it funny and relatable, which actually makes you appreciate the creativity even more.
It really does. It invites you to play in that world. Think about the silly details. Okay, so Kane swoops in, saves Jupiter with his amazing space gates. And then he drops the big truth bombs.
Right. This is where the exposition really kicks in, the cosmic reality check.
Prepare yourself, listener. This is where it gets big.
Big is an understatement. Kane explains that Earth, not special, not the cradle of humanity, it's a farm.
A farm.
And humans, we're basically livestock, seeded here ages ago by this incredibly powerful alien family, the House of Abrasax, to be, well, harvested later.
Wow. The source's reaction to this was pretty great. They call this cosmic veal.
Cosmic veal, and they added, it explains a lot, actually, which is just dark but funny. It completely flips our whole sense of importance in the universe. We're just a product.
It's a damper on things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But Jupiter, she's different. She's not just another head of cosmic cattle.
No. Kane reveals she's what they call a reoccurrence, specifically of the dead matriarch of the Abrasax dynasty, meaning she has the exact same genetic code, identical. And because of that, galactic law dictates she is now the rightful owner of Earth.
Just like that, because her genes match.
Pretty much. The source emphasizes this isn't like symbolic reincarnation. It's a verifiable genetic match, a biological claim. It's like the ultimate cosmic inheritance loophole.
So she goes from cleaning toilets
To owning the entire planet. Because of, as the source puts it, a cosmic clerical error.
That's insane. The source called it the most inspiring story ever heard.
They did the ultimate fake it till you make it. She has zero clue what's happening, and suddenly she's the landlord for, what, 8 billion people?
Which immediately raises the most important question.
Does she get to collect rent? That's exactly where the source went. Forget saving humanity, what about the practicalities? It grounds this massive cosmic revelation in something utterly relatable and kind of mundane.
It's perfect. You own Earth. Your first thought is rent collection. That's the kind of movie this is, like the source says. Okay, so she owns the planet. Now she has to meet the previous landlords.
Right, the Abrasax family. Specifically the 3 heirs who are, let's say, less than thrilled about this genetic duplicate showing up.
They're the villains of the piece, right? Squabbling over the inheritance.
Exactly. And each one represents a different flavor of, well, entitled awfulness. It's quite a look at unchecked power and wealth. First up is Kalik.
The sister, she seems nice at first.
Deceptively so. Tries to befriend Jupiter, comes across all elegant and wise. But then the other shoe drops. The family secret. Their magical youth serum.
Ah, yes. The source had some thoughts on this.
They did. The serum that keeps them young forever, it's made by harvesting entire planets full of people.
Just harvesting people for skincare. The source joked about a little light genocide to keep the skin looking fresh.
And how casual it is. That's what's chilling. It's not mustache-twirling evil. It's just business, a resource. The source called it the ultimate skincare routine. Forget retinol, just blend a billion souls into a smoothie.
Grim. What does that say about their view of life?
The source really dug into this. It's the ultimate consumerism, right? Entire civilizations treated as ingredients. It's a critique of extreme wealth where everyone becomes disposable for the comfort of the elite. That casual cruelty is maybe more disturbing than outright villainy.
Makes sense. Okay, so Kalik offers deadly skincare. What about the brothers? Titus.
He goes for the romance angle. Seems charming, interested in Jupiter, but naturally, it's a trap.
Of course.
His plan. Marry Jupiter. Inherit Earth through her. Then kill her.
Lovely. The source called this a classic romance.
Yeah, ironically. A tale as old as time, they said. Boy meets girl, discovers girl is the genetic clone of his dead mother, tries to marry girl mom clone to steal her planet and then murder her. You know, the usual.
Just a typical Tuesday in the Abrasax household. It really twists familiar tropes, doesn't it?
Completely. It takes the romantic hero idea and just makes it bizarrely creepy and mercenary. Shows the absolute moral vacuum at the heart of this dynasty. Only the Wachowskis, right?
Truly. Okay, Titus is creepy. Kalik is deadly. But the real showstopper is Balaam. Eddie Redmayne. Oh, Balaam, yes. The source is emphatic here. His performance is a choice. Capital C.
That's a very memorable choice.
What the source breaks down so well is his delivery. He mostly speaks in this incredibly quiet, strained whisper, like he's in constant pain. The hosts even demoed it. My mother made me love humanity. Right, barely audible.
And then, bang, no warning, no build-up. He just explodes into this full-volume, vein-popping scream.
Like the I create life bit.
Exactly, followed immediately by going straight back to the whisper. And I destroy it. It's jarring. Almost comical, but also deeply unsettling.
The source described his settings as sleepy cat and exploding supernova, no middle ground.
That's perfect. They said he wasn't just chewing the scenery, he was unhinging his jaw and swallowing it whole. Declared him the most compelling villain since ever, which is quite a statement.
It is. What makes that kind of extreme, almost baffling performance so compelling, do you think? Even if it leaves you scratching your head.
That's a good question. The source suggests that maybe in a film this deliberately weird and over-the-top, a subtle villain wouldn't work. Balaam's performance, in its sheer theatricality, kind of matches the film's energy.
It commits to the bit.
It really does. It creates this constant tension because you have no idea when the next outburst is coming. It embodies the erratic, dangerous nature of that kind of absolute power. You might love it, you might hate it, but you definitely remember it. The source argues it actually works because it's so extreme within this specific movie.
That makes a lot of sense. It fits the film's go big or go home philosophy. Okay, so beyond the main Abrasax trio, the film throws even more weird and wonderful stuff at us, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. The universe keeps expanding. It's not just dogmen and clones. We get more genetic splices, allies, enemies, and bureaucracy.
Can't forget the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
But first, allies.
Oh.
Kane has help, right? Stinger, played by Sean Bean.
Yes. And the first thing the source jumps on, hilariously, is that Sean Bean doesn't die. They call it the most unrealistic part of the film. Pure disbelief. Given his track record, It's a fun meta joke the film plays, or at least that the audience reads into it.
Absolutely, a deep sci-fi cut for movie nerds.
Mm-hmm.
But Stinger himself is interesting. He's another splice.
He is. Human and bee DNA.
By DNA, okay.
And it's not just random. He lives surrounded by bees, literally in his house. And the film states that bees in this universe are genetically engineered to recognize royalty.
Ah, so when Jupiter shows up,
the bees don't attack her. They gently swarm around her. It's a visual confirmation of her royal status. The bees know.
the bees know.
Yeah.
Which leads the source down a wonderful rabbit hole.
Oh, completely. They start speculating that maybe the bees are the real power, the true power behind the throne.
The kingmakers.
Exactly. Controlling pollination across the galaxy. They half-jokingly suggest the film is actually a documentary about the political power of bees, and the Abrasax are just puppets of the bee hegemony.
I love it. That's the kind of imaginative leap this film inspires, apparently. Bee hegemony.
Okay. It shows how rich the world building is, even in its sillier aspects. It sparks these fun what-ifs.
Definitely. And we get other splices too, right? There's a bad guy Kane fights.
Grugan, the giant lizard man, adds another creature to the mix. Now we have Dogman, Bee-Man, Lizard Man. The source said it felt like the best Dungeons & Dragons campaign ever.
You can see why. It's got that kitchen sink fantasy vibe, just in space. Anything goes.
And then amidst all the genetic wonders and space battles, the bureaucracy.
Right. Jupiter actually has to, file paperwork to claim Earth.
She does. She has to navigate this ridiculously complex galactic administration system. The source nailed it. Basically a 5-minute trip to the DMV in space.
Oh, God. Complete with endless forms. Unhelpful robot clerks.
The works. The source hosts said they felt this scene in their soul, called it the most realistic depiction of government ever seen.
Huh. That's depressingly accurate, probably.
Their point was brilliant. You can have spaceships, laser guns, dogmen, whatever, but you will never escape the soul-crushing misery of trying to get the right form stamped.
They probably asked her for 2 forms of galactic ID and a utility bill from her home planet.
Wouldn't surprise me. It grounds everything again, doesn't it, in that universal frustration.
Right.
The source really picked up on how it's this moment of friction, reminding you that even owning a planet involves paperwork. Maybe the most alien yet familiar horror in the movie.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah.
The final frontier.
Yeah.
Annoyance. Okay, so she navigates the forms, meets a bee man, avoids the lizard man. Eventually, we get to the big finale.
Right. The climax. And fittingly for this film, it's both epic and geographically specific.
Where does that happen?
Planet Jupiter, the actual gas giant, specifically inside the Great Red Spot.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
That's where Balaam has his massive human harvesting facility. The source loved the good branding aspect. He's literally processing humans on a planet named after his enemy.
Nice touch. Very villainous. And the action ramps up.
Oh, yeah. Kane flies in on the space rollerblades, fights Gregan the lizard man in this crazy zero-G environment. Jupiter confronts Balaam directly inside the refinery, which is, of course, collapsing.
Standard collapsing refinery fight.
Pretty much. She defeats him. Kane rescues her just in the nick of time. The whole place goes boom. Big, spectacular explosion. Classic sci-fi climax stuff.
So villain defeated, facility destroyed.
Yeah.
What happens next? That's the big question the source tackles, right? Does she become Queen of Earth? Queen of the galaxy?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? After all that. Embrace the destiny. Fix the universe and the harvesting. That's the expected path for the hero.
But this is Jupiter ascending.
This is Jupiter ascending. So the ending is, well, it's something else. It completely subverts those expectations.
What does she do?
She goes home, back to Earth, back to her loud Russian family, and she goes back to cleaning toilets.
No, really. After owning the planet?
Yep. And this is the moment that just blew the source's minds. It made them completely reevaluate everything. They literally asked, was the entire point of the movie so that one woman could get a cool pair of shoes and make her morning commute slightly more awesome?
Ah, that the takeaway?
It's a stunningly anticlimactic choice in traditional narrative terms. It feels like a deliberate rejection of the epic hero journey.
But she does get something out of it, right?
Yeah.
Besides near-death experience.
Oh, definitely. There are personal perks. She gets a cool anti-gravity tattoo. Kane, the sad-eyed space dog, is now her boyfriend. And, crucially,
The boots.
he gives her her own pair of gravity boots.
Yeah.
In the very last shot, it's Jupiter skating through the air over Chicago at sunrise, presumably on her way to her toilet cleaning job.
Wow, okay. That is unexpected.
And this is where the source finds the film's genius. They call this ending the most beautiful, pointless, magnificent ending in the history of cinema.
High praise for going back to a minimum wage job.
But they see it as profound, a rejection of cosmic responsibility in favor of personal convenience. They declare it the most honest film ever made.
Honest. How so?
Because, they argue, it's not about saving the world. It's about getting to fly to your minimum wage job. It's a story that resonates, they feel, with our times. It champions the small personal upgrade over the grand, world-altering destiny.
It's actually a really interesting take, especially now maybe, when huge global problems feel overwhelming. Maybe the fantasy isn't saving the world, but just having a slightly better commute. Is that the idea?
That's exactly how the source frames it. It resonates with a feeling of maybe being unable or even unwilling to take on these massive burdens. It shifts the chosen one narrative. Personal agency becomes about improving your life, your morning.
Not conquering the universe, just conquering Monday morning.
Precisely. It's a different kind of fantasy, maybe more relatable.
Yeah.
The film lets Jupiter have the adventure, get the cool boyfriend, get the awesome boots, and then just opt out of the galactic responsibility. The source argues that maybe the biggest win is just making your own life better, not taking on a job you never applied for.
It makes you completely rethink the film, doesn't it? Not as a failed epic, but as a successful something else entirely.
Yeah.
A story about personal convenience as the ultimate prize.
And for the source hosts, that unconventional message makes it a masterpiece, even if, as they admit, that wasn't necessarily the Wachowskis' explicit intention.
Right. Which brings us towards wrapping up this deep dive. It's clear Jupiter Ascending, viewed through the lens of the source you shared, is just bursting with wild ideas.
Unrestrained imagination.
Yeah. It's a big studio movie that just went for it, embraced the weirdness. Sure, it has flaws, what film doesn't, but that unique vision, that audacity, it's kind of amazing it even got made.
And the source really highlights something important here, how audiences make meaning. They argue that the artist's intentions are irrelevant in the face of art. The art is what the audience takes from it. And this deep dive, based on their conversation, showed us this really unconventional but compelling way to read the film. Finding depth in the quirks, meaning in the anticlimax. It shows how a film keeps living, keeps changing, depending on who's watching and when.
That's a great point. The film's story continues in our conversations about it. It proves that maybe the most memorable tales aren't always about saving the galaxy. Sometimes they're about finding magic, or at least really cool boots, in your own little corner of it.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a final thought for you, listening. In a world that constantly pushes these grand narratives, these calls for huge, world-changing action, what does it mean if we find real value, maybe even cinematic genius, in just enhancing the everyday, like getting gravity boots for your commute?
What's more valuable to you, those monumental achievements or those small, profound improvements to daily life? Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time for another exploration into the fascinating, the informed, and the unexpected.